Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. Today is a special day. I'm in Boston at the LaiSun Gallery. Special shout out to Jane for telling me about this show. You can see right through the glass window here one of the gems of the show, the Wisconsin Medieval Tapestry. This is an exhibit of Mary Tooley Parker's hooked rugs. And we're going to be looking at them together with the gallery owner, LaiSun. This is Wisconsin hooked tapestry. I mean, this is so interesting how Mary's calling her pieces hooked tapestries, because as rug hookers, we have been trying for so long to get away from the word rug, right? What a gorgeous piece, right? She's doing work that has texture, that has height, a little bit of a Prada thing, the roving in the hair, there's mixed materials. It's a fairly primitive cut. I hope that you all saw the video that somebody reposted in our Facebook group, Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club, of Mary here doing the interview at the gallery, because it's about a half hour long and she talks about the genesis of these rugs and she answers questions. She talks about her technique and her process, and she talks about the inspiration for these rugs. So this is the first one that you see as you come into the exhibit, and obviously this is a beautiful view, a very flat, very folky view of Wisconsin farmland, broken up into geometrics, right? It's very friendly, it's very green, it's very lush. Let's come over here to the beginning of the exhibit and meet the gallery owner. LaiSun, do you want to be in the video too? Do you want to say hi?
Yes, I'd like to say hi.
She's going to come say hi. Let's look at this one in the meantime. So this is get a quarter.
Get a quarter.
Get a quarter.
Yeah, so the kids are running after the ice cream truck.
Oh my God,
yeah.
that's the moment, the moment of panic.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. And ice cream used to cost a quarter, right?
You know, I guess
in the
it
60s.
was in the 60s, yeah. It
So
probably did when I was younger. This is LaiSun, the gallery owner.
Hello.
What a beautiful space you've got here.
Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much. You know, I just want to add for people, you know, because sometimes people think, oh God, it's the city, it's Boston. This is so easy to get here. You just come off the road, there's a parking lot right back here, and it's cobbled in here. So even if you're not a brave driver, you can still get here. The exhibit's on until March 31st.
That's right. Only 1 week left, so that is next Sunday is the last day.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are still rugs for sale. So even if you are not in this part of the country, right? If you are, you've got to haul yourself here one way or another. It's very easy parking right outside, and this is like the best hooked rug exhibit that I've seen in forever. It's all hooked rugs.
I agree. I don't think we see a show of completely hooked rugs.
No, this is so rare. This is so rare. Thank you for putting this on, because it's also important. We have a craft where nobody knows what we do.
No, it's
There's tons of us and nobody knows.
Yes.
So this is called, what was it called?
Run,
Get a quarter. And they're chasing after the ice cream truck. Look at this. Now, for those of you who are rug hookers, and I think you probably all are, she's hooking in a style that we sometimes refer to as higgledy-piggledy, right? She's got a lot of height. She's got a lot of variation. She's doing something that feels like a tapestry with a lot of textural variety, right? It's not one of these sort of all the same, keep it even, make sure it looks like it's a manufactured rug. No, this is a much more bohemian style, right? But it's quite wide cuts. I'm seeing different cuts in here. This is like an 8 or a 9 cut, and there's some narrower cuts in other places. If you look up here, that looks more like a 4 cut. So she's using lots of different cuts in one piece, and she's using some non-traditional materials like the metallic. I think the fun thing about this show is that all of these rugs, and we're going to look at them together, reflect like a moment in time, right? Like a wrinkle in time. They reflect, well, her memories, right, of growing up, and these things that we can all relate to, like chasing after the ice cream truck. There's a lot of fun, don't you think, LaiSun?
Yes, exactly.
It's not one of these serious exhibits, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to smile. It's supposed to bring up memories.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's sweet.
Yes.
It's nostalgic.
That's right.
It's colorful and contemporary too.
Exactly.
It's not like old-fashioned, like it's not like Grandma Moses. It's super colorful.
That's right. Yeah.
Such a lot of fun. Let's look at this one, because this is one. So the show is called The Crystal, right? And again, if you haven't watched the video of the interview with Mary Tooley Parker, make sure that you watch it. It's on our page, it's on LaiSun's gallery page, LaiSun Keane, right? I'll put the link to it. Make sure you watch the full interview, because it's always so interesting to know how other people are working and what their motivation is and all of that, right? So this is certainly one of the key pieces in the show, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's the key piece, exactly. Showpiece.
The
call it.
showpiece.
Yeah.
Well, it's so, it's that unexpected God's eye view looking down, right? Like almost like a blueprint quality to it. And this is a house in her...
The upstairs bedroom,
Ruth's house.
Ruth's her grandmother.
And Ruth is in Wisconsin, yes.
Yes, her farmhouse.
Yep.
Where Mary spent a lot of her childhood visiting.
Yes.
And this is Ruth's bedroom, I think.
And I remember her saying in the video, because somebody asked her something, oh, the colors are so bright. And she said, well, they actually are the colors of that house.
Yeah, as she remembered.
As she remembered,
Yes,
that's true.
That's right.
That's a good point, because sometimes our memories...
yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But it's such a warm, nostalgic piece, isn't it? It's so interesting because it's a very flat piece. It's a very contemporary piece. But the colors are so, they pop. There's such variety. And I said earlier, because we talked about me coming to the show a little, I said one of the things I really like about these pieces that are set in like on Ruth's house is that they're not overly tidy. It doesn't give you the impression that someone just put some stuff away and then it's like, photos for Architectural Digest. It's just, things are left out just where people would have been sitting or working or reading or doing a craft. And I think that is such a charming aspect of these rugs. For those of you who are hookers, right, notice some of the great details here, the color variation, because we know that Mary dyes her own material, right? And she uses some aniline dyes, meaning chemical dyes, but she also uses some natural dyes. She's got a lot of interesting color variation, because we talk a lot about putting tonal values together, blues on blues, greens on greens. She seems to do this a lot, and it's really interesting. She's very brave with color. I also like the aspect of this particular piece being like a very old-fashioned rug. If you think about the Magdalena Bryner Eby rugs, the kinds of rugs from the 19th century that you would put on the floor and you would expect to approach it from different directions, as opposed to a rug that has a specific orientation. Do you know what I mean? So for example, if this were on the floor, and it's not meant to be on the floor, but you could look at it from the different points of view and enter it from the different points of view as if you were in the house yourself. That's very active, isn't it? It's kind of an invitation for you to actively get into the scene and walk around and check this stuff out. One of the other interesting things that I think is really important is where she does these big background fills, like the yellow. It's not just yellow, is it, LaiSun? It's tons of different yellows.
Gives it texture, gives it the variation as if it's almost like the wall.
Yeah.
You know, when your wall has got maybe tiles or maybe like the wood panels or something. So she's trying to achieve the kind of like a texture.
Yeah. She really has, and it's so much more interesting than just a solid.
Exactly, even the rug, I mean the floor.
Oh, I love this color. That's such a pretty rosy coral color. It's such a good warm color. This is such a great piece. Now this piece is sold.
It is on hold, right now.
Let's talk about some of the pieces that are not sold, right? Because you can jump in.
That one.
Now this is an important rug. If you are a rug hooker and you support rug hooking, right, and you are looking to make investments in rug hookers who are alive right now, this is your moment. We don't get a lot of opportunities in the rug hooking world where hooked rugs are featured in a gallery, in a beautiful city, in a great setting like this. It hardly ever happens, right? So this is a great opportunity, even though the show will end at the end of the month, so you've got one more week. This is 2024.
That's right.
There's still, some of these are not sold. So this is your chance, like seriously, right? This is my personal favorite in the show. This is another enormous rug. This one is called Ruth's Back Porch. And it has that pretty rose color, the rosy salmon.
The same pink as the large piece.
Yes. And I love this weird kind of chartreuse green that goes through it. There's a funny shape that's a different pink, right in here.
That's right, because the way the wool is dyed.
Yes.
So each piece is different.
And
right?
also,
because they're natural dyes, so it's not consistent.
You don't get the same thing twice. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
That's right.
But it also gives us a clue as to how she hooks. Because we talk about directional hooking a lot in rug hooking. She's done some directional hooking with these very strong diagonals, right? And they're really unifying the whole piece. But in the background, the rug itself is north, south, east, west. So it's very geometric. Just looking at the way she works is part of the craft, and it's one reason why people might want to collect this artist, is they love the way that she works. They love the colors, right? This is more metallics over here by the sink, right?
Yeah.
Such
It's like
thoughtfulness.
the
There's so many little details
yes,
here.
that's right. Yeah, lots of details. Also, just want to mention, I did ask Mary why didn't she finish the diamond.
Ooh.
Yeah. She said she's honoring or respecting how traditionally women, when they were doing the hook rugs, they might run out of the wool.
Yes.
So instead of going and dyeing more,
Oh.
she just purposefully did it this way to say that's what they used to do.
That almost makes me want to cry, because that's so true, right?
Isn't
That's so
it?
true.
Yeah, because
It's
it-
so
yeah.
charming. Because this is a thrift craft, right? This is
That's
a
right.
poverty
Make
craft.
do.
Make do,
Yeah.
right? This is for utility, right? This is, and the fact that women have tried since the 1860s to make hooked pieces and have them be utilitarian or wall pieces, but have them be artistic. That's something that we've been trying to do for such a long time. And the further back you go, right, the more often it was that women did run out of the colors that they needed, or they cut the jacket up and then there's no more jacket, and you have to be at peace with it, right? That is a very nice thing to add.
Isn't it? It's such a
Oh, that is
so
such
special
a great
for that
story.
reason. Yeah.
And this, you know, for people who do crafts, right, this is particularly appealing because this is the craft table with the old Singer machine right here.
Yeah, you recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely a single machine.
Oh, it is. And then she's working on maybe a little quilt piece or something.
The scissors and then the
Oh.
pin cushion.
Yes, yes, the little tomato pin cushion.
That's right, yes.
Oh my gosh, and the scissors are metallic.
Yes.
And all the little flower parts, so cheerful,
Yes.
right?
And that's a window that looks out to the farm, which you just pointed out.
From the Wisconsin medieval tapestry. Okay, so that's it. What did those two go get together, huh? Yes, same colors.
You get the snippet of this piece in this
Oh,
piece.
isn't that great?
See how
It
clever
is.
that is.
It's like, yeah, a little bit of the indoors in there.
Yeah.
And there's something going on over here, right? Somebody's entering the room.
And it's a bathroom.
It's a bathroom.
Someone's
Okay.
sitting on the toilet.
Well, that's part of the story, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Good thing the toilet's on the inside. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
God, this is just, I think this is just a spectacular piece. The
Right.
greens and the pinks, and then there's a lot of neutral colors too, because in rug cooking we consider brown to be a neutral. There's a lot of pop, right? Dark, light, dull, bright. That's always what we say in rug cooking, and this one has all of them, doesn't it? It has the darks, it has the lights, it has the dulls and some of the greens, and then it has the brights. It's got everything. This is just a great piece. Then one more time, this piece is called Ruth's Back Porch. Should we come over here next? Because this is another interior. What's the status of this one, LaiSun?
Well, it's still available.
This is available.
Yeah.
God. And this one is called Upstairs Blue Bedroom, Ruths.
So this is an interior scene of the little kids visiting grandma and sharing a room. And then might be like a little fight. This girl says, ow, because she's sharing a bed with somebody,
Yeah.
with maybe a cousin or something, and
Yeah.
there's a, like clothes.
Oh, the suitcases are open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this girl here with the question mark,
There's
there's
a
table.
This is a
It's like
story rug.
storytelling.
Yeah, this is a story
Yeah.
rug for sure.
Yeah.
God, see, this one is so interesting too, but different carpet, right? And this one matches that one very well, I just have to say. But different color schemes is more of the Van Gogh palette, isn't it? With the blues and the yellows. So pretty with lots of pops of bright. But this one has a real diagonal thrust coming in this way, doesn't it?
Yes.
Do you want to take a break? Let's do a break for a second. So this is one of the great contemporary hooked story rugs, without a doubt. And I just love what LaiSun was just describing. There's a little animal in the mix. There's 3 girls sharing one room. It's bound to be problematic. This one has a different kind of orientation, doesn't it? Because the others were kind of the God's eye view looking down. This one is real specific. We're standing right in front of it. It's coming at us like a theater. We are the fourth wall with this piece, right? We're looking at something that folds out like this, like a dollhouse. And we are getting the story that's happening on the inside. This piece has got the sort of restfulness to it. Maybe it's the blues, maybe it's the idea that the girls are getting ready for bed. But it also has this sweet vignette, like the last one we looked at, out the window at that Wisconsin landscape. All of the farmlands, right, with a pretty red barn out there. You really get the moment in time. And this one, like the other ones, small touches that make a big difference, right? the little pairs of sneakers and slippers, right? All of these recognizable things that we can all relate to, right, and identify easily. Pretty cheerful picture on the wall, right? It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. This one is called Upstairs Blue Bed. Now let's come to this one. This is Ruths Front Porch. Another beauty. This is kind of a mix of perspective, right? So this one, like the one before it with the blue bedroom, we are looking at the three walls, right? Whenever we see three walls, it feels like an extra invitation to be able to walk in. It's like a theater, isn't it? When you've got sort of a proscenium here that's invisible, and here's the room in front of us. We can look at it as if we're entering it, and we're part of the action. That's one of the things about these rugs. You feel welcome.
Yes.
In the house, you feel like you could just go in and sit down here, and you would find a friend, and you would be welcome. There's such friendly compositions. And interesting with this one here, it's a little bit different. I love how this is kind of blending in the couch set, right? It's kind of blending in almost like, it looks almost like a 70s kind of a sofa. Take a close-up of this wool that she's used here, because this is variegated wool. So for those of you who do your own dyeing right, this is mottled. And this time she's got, do you notice how many different browns are in here? You can see that she's used wool in the floor that's patterned, so it's not solid. This is cut from something else, maybe a skirt or a jacket, but you see the flecks of like saffron and rust. That's a piece of clothing or some textile that hasn't been dyed, because we can't do that as rug cookers unless you weave as well, right, which we typically don't. But you're getting lots of little vignettes around, right? You see where the door is. Reminds me of the board game Clue, right, a little bit. The windows are getting small views out the windows, and using more different sort of mixed materials here with the roving in the sky for the clouds. She does love putting in a little bit of metallic. It's just a little bit of bling. It's the right amount. It's not distracting. It's really fun.
Just a small little,
Yeah, just a little pop.
Yeah.
And you just want to look at these pictures. You just want to look at what's on the table.
That's right.
You want to see what you want to see their stuff.
Yeah.
As you do when you go in someone's house, right? You want to check out their stuff. Same thing with these rugs. I think for me, the interiors, the main motif with the interiors is the open space, right? Because she's giving you the illusion that there's a lot of open space. We see a big open rug in all four of these last ones, but they also feel like there's a lot of clutter. People are living there, right? They're lived in spaces. How does she balance the feeling of openness with all of the stuff? It's like magic. I don't know the answer to that. That's a rhetorical question. But it's like magic, because the negative space, the big fills, really are the story of these pieces. And I think if there weren't big areas that were one color fills, or just like the carpet, I think they would become very confusing, right? There would be too much. You need for your eye to rest with these large, busy pieces like this. You want to take in everything, and you want to do it at your leisure, right? But your eye does need to rest. And the balance between the open spaces in all of these and the other little details that you're looking at, that really is, for me, the story of these pieces. That's the brilliance of these pieces. Here's another one that's more along the lines of the ice cream truck, the running for a quarter. This one is called My Name is Alice. And in this one, obviously, children again, that kind of happy, nostalgic composition, playing hopscotch, playing maybe hacky sack, something like that, little family pet up here. Another great mix of variegated wools, right? So mottled wools that she's dyeing. She really is brilliant with color. It's extraordinary. I mean, the amount of color in here, the yellows, the sort of saffron yellows, the oranges, the turquoise, the purple, the green, it's absolutely brilliant, and it's perfect balance. I also love how she puts in bits like this that kind of repeat the same pattern in the other pieces. It's a great unifying device, but it's really interesting because particularly if you have more than one of these pieces, it's like, this is a moment of Wisconsin, isn't it? Just like out the window and just like in the medieval tapestry. It's fun to see that repeat because you recognize it. It almost becomes a motif, right? It's the brown ground with the green grass. It's something that she does. So really interesting. And again, a little bit with the metallics here. Is this one still available?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. And this is a very well-known one too. I think we've seen this one a lot online. This is one that when you pull up the gallery of this show, this is one that comes up right away. So this is called 10 p.m. lunch in Ortonville, 2000, and they're all 2023, right? They were all
Yeah,
last
they all
year.
made a year, yes.
Yeah.
This within the last year. Mary planned this solo show with me a year ago, and so she started making the work focusing on her childhood in Wisconsin. So that's why it's all dated 2023.
She has so captured that moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I grew up with her. I've only been to Wisconsin once. I feel like I grew up with her, and I was at Ruth's house too. It's such a warm feeling. It's colorful, it's happy, they're super inspiring. They're so artistic and creative. This one is different than the others because this is our introduction to people. So far we've seen the little girls, but not really close up, right? A little bit more anonymous. This one, we're really being introduced to some family members. And here they are at the table. You feel super welcome, right? Like you could sit down, you could grab something, nobody would slap your hand. It's super welcoming. Little bit of glitter up here in the wall. That looks like that door glitter wall. That's very hard to find these days. More metallics. She's using this metallic kind of, I don't know what material it is. Maybe it's kind of like a foil. But she's using that in many of the pieces. I think that's another great unifier. It's really fun. I love how she's cropping stuff like this because it gives you the impression, oh, there's more stuff right outside the frame. It's a lot of fun. I love how she's not fussy about cramming things into a composition, you know, like what's that traffic game where you have to get all the pieces like Tetris, you know? Something like that.
Yeah.
She's letting some pieces fall away, and it does create such a feeling of space. Again, big, huge expanses of color, big, huge background. Make sure you get a close-up here again of all of the different yellows, right? Now, this is the one I think in the video she said that she used weld as a natural dye, I think to do the table.
The yellow, yeah.
Yep, so she's mixing the inline dyes and the natural dye, and it is such a special thing to get this much of a color that's a natural dye. It's absolutely gorgeous. Who would ever think that yellow and yellow go well together? They go great together. It's such a cheerful piece. This cast of characters around the table, all eating off these little checkered mats. I mean, isn't that so cozy and homey? It's so friendly. Little braided rug over here. You see little hints of furniture. What's important to this family, right? There's a lot of garden things, plants inside the house. They've got a lot of pretty bits and pieces, lamps, rugs. They've got lots of things hanging on the walls in all of the pictures. But I think what's really important in this one is that we're together at the table, right? There's friends or family together at the table. And the story is the table, you're getting that God's eye view again. Boom, right down on the table, the cutting board, all the different offerings, people enjoying, sitting together. But you have to really look this time at the people because this is what's different than the ones we've seen so far. Looking at the different faces, right? Her interpretation, her memory of these various people in her family. The faces are done in a way that we talk about a lot in rug hooking, because we often talk about the idea, a lot of people like to do realism, right? And that's absolutely great, but you can do stuff that's realistic with a little bit of a graphic edge, and you can do color substitutions for the same tonal value, right? You don't have to do all the color flesh all in the pinky flesh color. You can do the pinky flesh color and then go to another tonal equal, like a pistachio green. That's what she does, or a lilac. Right? They're the same value, right? They have the same strength, so they work together, right? It doesn't look like anything's wrong. It just looks like the light is hitting her face in different ways. It's so much more interesting to me when people handle skin tone with a multicolor palette as opposed to a just flat one skin tone palette. Makes it super interesting. And she's gone a step further, right? Again, a little bit of roving or curls, putting it into the lady's hair, the different glasses, right? The different personalities are really coming through at this table, right? You get a feel for, she'll maybe artsy with the red glasses, right? She's got the asymmetrical haircut a little bit. You get a little hint of what their personalities are like. They're all getting along together. It's very amicable. It looks so welcoming. This is another storytelling rug, and this is the story, right? But when you're sitting in front of it, you get to steal all those little extras and go, oh, what kind of a lamp does she have? What kind of a rug does she have? Those are just little extra bonus things. Let's take a closer look at some of the people I think in this picture over here on this wall. These are portraits that demonstrate that technique, again, of using color, right, to create light and dark and contours, but in a more modern art way, right? We're not just going for flesh tones. We're using like the dark purple, right, to sort of outline, to give the darkest shadows. And she's going to different color values that work well together, still absolutely give you the impression of what that person's face looks like. Is this hard to do in rug hooking? This is very hard to do in rug hooking. This is very hard. I have to say, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't attempt it. I wouldn't trust myself. But Mary is better than I am. So this is really extraordinary. If we just kind of scan from person to person, these are portraits that are also for sale. If any of them strike you, right, you could ask LaiSun, you could write to the gallery. But, you know, these are all different people who I think are people in the family. Let me get out of the way.
The aunts, a great aunt and uncle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, here's the uncle, right?
And the three of them are actually featured in that dining, the
Oh, they're
dining
in the
table
dining.
scene. Yeah.
God, how great is that?
You recognize that with the red glasses?
I do. That's her with the red glasses. I recognize her. Oh, I recognize her too.
That's right.
Right, there she is.
That's Aunt Lily.
Oh, that's Aunt Lily. Oh my God. That is too cute. I just love her splits, right? The contour in the faces. It's like, it's Picasso in rug hooking, isn't it? When you break up a face this way, it really, really works. People are always nervous about handling faces this way because it's so daunting. The thought of making those color decisions without making it look wacky, right, and messed up. It can work, right? These are all examples of it working very well. But I would say, if you're a beginner rug hooker, difficulty level very high. Yeah, I think you have to have sort of a hardwired instinct about color to be able to make portraits work, right? So these, to me, out of all the work in the show, this to me feels like highest difficulty level. And I know these are too, but these are so folky and colorful and fun. They're a little bit more approachable in a practical sense for rug hookers. But all of this goes together so well, including the colors, because here it is again, that pretty corally pink. And we've seen a lot of this grapey purple, this yellow saffron, this true turquoise, the chartreuse, and then this darker green. It's more like a spearmint green. A lot of the same colors from piece to piece. I think that's so interesting. She's so thoughtful about the colors that she chose. And if we do one final sweep around the gallery, it's very cohesive, right? Because these are pieces that are fairly jumbled composition-wise. That's what gives them their interest. Like in Aladdin's cave, like a general store, right? That's what gives them their interest. But in terms of being together in the same room, it's very cohesive. It makes a lot of sense. It's very cheerful. It has a great pop art quality, but the backbone of these pieces is that it is a textile, right? This is textile art. This is a 19th century thrift craft. This is a poverty craft. This is what we can do with this craft now. And certainly Mary Tooley Parker with this exhibit, The Crystal, has like just outdone herself, outdone the craft. I hope everybody who does any fiber art, not just rug hooking, is watching this video and seeing these pieces. And hey, if you're able to, grab one of these pieces while you can, because it's not every day that we see this quality of work in a gallery. I will see you next time at Ribbon Candy Hooking. Thank you so much to LaiSun Keane.
Yes.
This is a beautiful show.
Thank you so much.
Gallery.
I really appreciate you coming.
I wish I came sooner, but you still have a week, so get going.
Yes.
I will see you next time.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. You do not want to miss this.
Thank you.
I will see you next time. Thank you.